Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. In today's episode, the Toyota Celica first generation. Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight. Now if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel. Here on YouTube, looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars, car brochures, looking back on cars gone by, please consider subscribing. It is all completely free. Now what we've been doing on Quarterlight recently on Tuesdays is doing something called Take Two Tuesdays, where we look at a brochure that we looked at all the way back when we first started Quarterlight. Things are a little bit better now. We get a bit more details when we look in these brochures. So that's what we're doing, and we're looking at the Toyota Celica Coupe, the first generation, my favourite generation, I must admit. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. Also on this episode, when this particular episode was first aired, it's actually Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas if anyone's watching on the actual day of release. Funny thing though, isn't it, YouTube channels, really the date doesn't really matter, because who knows when actually this episode will actually in reality be watched, but there it is. Another quick note for the regulars, reduced number of episodes coming out. So in this Christmas week there'll just be two episodes next week as well, and maybe the week after. We'll see how that goes, but in this busy period just a reduction in episodes. But when we get properly into the new year, then we'll start increasing the episodes and get back to somewhere near what we used to do. But anyway, let's throw this brochure on the board and have a look at it. So here it is, a really lovely brochure actually. This is a brochure from 1974, although you wouldn't really be able to tell because it's in such good condition. Slight deterioration in the colour on the edges, but other than that it's in pretty great condition, really showing off this lovely Toyota Celica Coupe ST in yellow. Looks fantastic, and like I say, certainly my favourite generation. These, I think the styling is really amazing. And also on today's show, we've got a price list also for 1974, showing the full range of cars and their prices for the UK. So we can look at the prices of what these Celicas would have cost and kind of like compare them with the other models to get an idea how cheap or how expensive these particular models were. But just look at that, the styling on there is fantastic. Just some great little details really. Love the front end, and we've got these little sort of like scoops in the side there. But overall, a great design overall, and I'm sure these would be extremely collectible today, and I'm sure they would be way out of most people's price range, I would imagine. Particularly if you find one in that sort of condition, I would imagine. But there we go. That is today's brochure. It is a nice one, and like I say, 74 UK, so let's open that now. And it opens up really nicely to show a nice side shot of this particular example, now in sort of this like dark brown metallic. Very 70s car and a very 70s colour, but I do prefer the yellows, I must admit. We'll have a look at the text first, then we'll come back to these nice images. And also, rather nicely, gives us some images as we read on here as well. So it says, keeps up sports car performance without sports car upkeep. The Celica is a performance coupe that leaves most sports cars standing when it comes to running costs and reliability. 0 to 50 in 8.3 seconds. Now that's not unusual to show a 0 to 50. We more commonly hear 0 to 60 of course, but certainly it sounds faster, and a 0 to 50, but I still don't think that's bad for 74. And 109 miles per hour certainly was good for 1974. Shows a keen sense of sportiness. 41.3 miles per gallon at a constant 50 miles per hour. Autocar road test under test conditions shows a keen sense of economy. Moving the camera over, we even get a really nice image of the rear. I think these are all ST models. This certainly is the ST. I can just about make out it is ST badged. But It's one of those cars I like from the rear as much as I do from the side and the front. I think it's just an amazing styled vehicle. It tells us with two twin choke carburetors, 113 bhp, the Celica has a sort of engine most sport car owners would love to get their hands on. But don't let them. The Celica engine stays in tune without constant tinkering. If you really want to be one up on the competition, you can choose the Celica with a 5-speed gearbox. That's certainly ahead of the time to come away with a car in 74, or I'm saying 74 just because this is the date of the brochure, but if you imagine buying this car in 74, coming away with a 5-speed gearbox, that seems a little bit ahead of its time, although there were cars, of course, with 5-speed gearboxes, but still, I do like that. And they're going for that typical Toyota thing of saying, yeah, it's a great sports car, but it's reliable too. And of course, that's how they really went from strength to strength. It goes on to tell us, but that's the only extra you pay for. If you do a lot of motorway driving, you'll find the extra gear better in the long run. When it comes to equipment, the Celica can make many sports cars appear very basic. How many sports cars live up to these standards? The Celica has a push-button radio built into the fascia. It features a tamper-proof electromagnetic aerial release. It pops up as you switch on. The seats are cloth covered for cool comfort. Front seats are fully reclining and have built-in head restraints, a point of favour of safety as well as comfort. So already we're doing that typical Japanese thing of throwing more things on there as well. And indeed, nice to see a cloth covered interior, and it does look a very nice inviting one in those couple of different colours there. The wheels are pressed steel and wide with radial tyres. There's tinted glass to ease the glare from your eyes, and when it rains you can choose the speed the wipers work at. If it rains hard, they work harder. Other equipment includes a 3-speed heater, demister, locking filler cap, electric washers, reversing lights, hazard warning lights, 4 headlamps. And then if we move the camera down a little bit further, as well as showing the rather nice boot area there, it tells us the top speed of the Celica 5-speed 109, top speed of the Celica with the 4-speed gearbox 105. And really we've kind of covered most of the images as we've gone along. It was quite nicely positioned, apart from this main image in this dark metallic brown. Gives us a good look at those pressed steel wide wheels with the radial tyres. Like I said, I don't think the brown really shows off the Celica as well as it could do. I think the lighter colours really show those curves off better, but nevertheless it certainly is a good looking, purposeful looking car. And then on the back page there's a continuation of some really nice images there and the specifications, which we'll go through now. So it is really talking about that ST model. There was also a GT version as well, but this just looks like the 1600 Coupe ST, and remember, either a 4-speed or a 5-speed. So we get a 4-cylinder OHV aluminium alloy cross-floor head. Cubic capacity is 1588cc, maximum horsepower 113 bhp at 6,000 rpm, maximum torque 109 foot-pounds at 4,200 rpm. Carburetor is a twin 2-barrel downdraft. And then rather nicely shows the engine bay, and it looks like it's fits in there really nicely. Always nice to see an engine. You can actually see the engine, unlike modern cars, and it looks like you can actually work on it. Lots of room around there as well. So transmission, like it said, a manual 4 or 5-speed all synchromesh floor shift. And then the rear axle type semi-floating hypoid, shows the final drive ratios. Steering is recirculating ball. Brakes, disc front, drums rear, which you can kind of like imagine that would be the case at this time. Front suspension independent McPherson struts with lower wishbones and anti-roll bar. Rear live axle 4-link location, lateral rod, coil springs, nice to see, and telescopic shock absorbers. And it gives you some of the dimensions there for the tyres and wheels. Dimensions, and then performance there, like it said before, 109 for the 5-speed, 105 for the 4-speed. It says maximum cruising speed 90 for the 5-speed, 87 for the 4-speed. And then it gives the equipment specifications. So tinted glass all round, metallic paintwork, a no cost option. That's unusual, isn't it, for the time? Carpets, reclining front seats with head restraints, push button AM radio, electromagnetic aerial release, clock, 2-speed wipers, electric windscreen washers, 3-speed heater demister, flow through ventilation, heated rear window, a cigar lighter, lockable glove compartments, simulated wood fascia, tachometer, centre console, night mirror, steering lock, alternator, hazard warning lights, reversing lights, headlamp flasher, lockable petrol cap, door safety lights, comprehensive toolkit, inspection lamp, and radial tyres. Seat belts and nut plates are not included as standard equipment. Toyota reserves the right to alter prices and any details of specification and equipment without notice. And then we even get the little Toyota GB address. They're in Croydon, Surrey. Toyota, the only trouble you'll have is choosing. And then a little bit of a look at how that sort of like side badge would be for the Celica. And then at the bottom here, this is where your dealer stamp would be. And this little code here is indicated 1974. And then on the inside, quite a modern looking dash, I think, for its age overall. And we can see that simulated wood on there. Nice steering wheel with all these little horn pushes by the looks of it. Even says Celica near the glove box there. Lots of gauges, looks really well equipped, doesn't it, for the time? And like I say, I like the interior as much as the outside, so I think a really great car for 1974. But how much did all this cost? Let's have a look at the price list. Here is that price list then, so the UK recommended retail prices, and if you just don't mind me moving the camera and zooming in there. The date at the bottom there, so October the 16th, 1974, matching it in with that brochure. And of course, these are the UK recommended retail prices for the time. So often a good indicator of the prices and how they relate in today's money is to look at the base model. So that little tiny Toyota 1000, £1,158.30 after the VAT and car tax. And then if we move down to our lovely Celicas, moving past the Corollas and the Carinas, we get our first Celica there, which is the 1600 two-door coupe ST that we've been looking at. This is the 4-speed example. So the 4-speed is £1,721.07. If you wanted the 5-speed, £1,806.47. So it wasn't exactly a cheap car, but at the same time it wasn't bad. So if you look at like Coronas, £1,715, it made sense. I think you could also get, well, you can also get the GT, which it doesn't really show in this brochure, but the 1600 two-door coupe GT version was £2,344.66, which is quite a jump actually. You know, when you're thinking sort of two base models is how much the GT version would have cost. I think the model to pick personally would have been the Celica 1600 two-door coupe ST with a 5-speed box at £1,806.47. Certainly offers a lot for the money. Not cheap cars, but certainly offering a lot for the money, as these Japanese cars did in their time. Also gives you an indication what the paint colours you could get. So the colours You get white, red, yellow, which is obviously the colour shown in the brochure, a silver metallic, and then the dark brown metallic, which was the colour that we saw in the brochure as well. Same colours for your 5-speed. If you went for the GT though, you can only get 2 colours, either white or copper metallic. For me personally, Celica 1600 2-door coupe ST 5-speed in yellow, please. That would be my choice, but certainly let me know what your choice would have been for these lovely cars. I may as well show you to the end of the price list though. The sort of luxurious models, and certainly a rare cars today, the Toyota Crowns. Most expensive one, a Crown, it's 2600 2-door auto hardtop coupe, £2,392.65, which in reality isn't much more than that GT version of the Celica was. Oh, actually, there is one more expensive model, isn't it? The Crown Estate version, automatic custom estate at £2,723.75. That was certainly an expensive car. I don't know how many they would have sold in the UK. I don't think I've ever seen one, so that would be a very rare car for the UK market. So there we go, a quick look at the first generation Toyota Celicas. I really like this generation of Celica, by far my favourite. I love the design touches, lots of little touches on there which are really fantastic, but a very sort of Japanese look to them as well. But thank you so much for watching today. There will be one more episode this week, which will be on Friday, which will be Ford Friday, and then we'll do a couple next week as well. But in the greater things, it doesn't really make much difference, does it? I mean, who knows if you're actually watching this in the Christmas week or not. There's really no time, is there, in the internet? But anyway, I'm Wittering. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll end, as we always do, by saying thank you so much for watching Quarterlight today and the Toyota Celica Coupe. If you've not done already, please do consider subscribing. Lots and lots of episodes in the back catalogue, over 500, and we're doing lots more, so I'm sure there's something for everybody. But thank you so much for watching today. I'll add a couple more boxes here for some other relevant episodes. Probably one will be for Toyotas, one will probably be a random one. But thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. I hope you're enjoying your break. All the best and goodbye.